Oh, hello. In today's video, I'm going to give a quick review of my experiences at the Warhammer World Store Anniversary 2025. So, for those of you who don't know, every Games Workshop store in the world has an official anniversary day where there are some limited edition models available and some swag available for buying over a certain amount, up to £200 to get the most free stuff. But the Warhammer World one is always a little bit extra with loads of extra stuff that you can go and do. It is completely free, although you do need to get tickets. The tickets are free. They're on Eventbrite. They're free, but they are tickets in advance, just because they have lots of people turn up for. They don't want to get overwhelmed because of the fire regulations, essentially. Okay, so obviously one of the biggest things to do is a Games Workshop event, after all, is to buy Games Workshop products, right? They are a limited company and they want to sell you stuff. So the way it worked is, I think if you spent £50, you got the leather dice cup. If you spent £100, you got the leather dice cup and the metal dice. And if you spent £200, you got all of the above and the lovely neoprene mat. Now, I really wanted the mat. Okay, especially being someone that plays the main Games Workshop game I play is Kill Team after all, and one side of the neoprene mat is a perfect Kill Team board, and it's going to be far more rugged and far more resilient than the foldable Kill Team boards, right? Which is great. So I did spend just a hair over £200 to bravely acquire all the bits of swag. I try and remember the stuff that I bought. So fun enough. I got some stuff for my Old World army, which is a project I'm probably not going to touch until 2026 at this rate. But I got the Warp Fire Dragon, the Forge World Resin Dragon. I also got the small metal three-headed like classic Chaos Dragon sculpt. So that's going to be really interesting to put together. Then I picked up the Isengard Battle Host for Lord of the Rings. Funnily enough, I already have, and you've already seen on this channel, Saruman and Grima Wormtongue, but I wanted some more basic Uruk-hai scouts and warriors, and to get the numbers I needed, it's like 6 of each, I was going to have to buy 2 boxes anyway, and the boxes, and basically the battle host is 2 boxes and the characters, and it ended up cheaper, so I bought them, and I'll get around to doing them for Middle-earth. I may even at some point in the far future do a Saruman repaint where my undercoat hasn't gone slightly lumpy. That would also bring me joy. Maybe if I ever buy that airbrush that I keep dreaming of buying, right? And then I was in the real fortunate position where someone on the Discord, Tron, a big supporter of the channel member, wanted one of the event exclusive models. Now, I should be really clear. They have 2 event exclusive models for the Warhammer Store Anniversaries, which is the Gene Stealer eating the Terminator, and there's a Stormcast lady. All the Stormcast look a bit similar to me, so I don't really remember what's special about them. It wasn't either of those that Tron wanted, but he did want the Kroot that came out for something a couple of years ago. And one of the things about Warhammer World in particular is they always have a really decent quantity of previous collectible miniatures as well. So I was able to pick him up a Kroot, send that off to him in the post. He paid for it, but I got to buy it as part of my basket to get over £200, which was really helpful. So thank you for that. That really helped me out. There was, it's funny, Glass Half Dead asked me if I would pick him up the event exclusive miniatures, which is there's a Skaven fellow and there's a Brood Brothers fellow, but they weren't available yet. They are not going to be available until Adepticon's going to be their first release at the end of this month. I guess they probably just didn't have them ready for the Warhammer World Open Day, which has previously been the first place to get them. So in terms of the free swag, which I guess I will review, obviously I own this, I've had it in hand, I haven't got it, it's just up there on a shelf at the moment. The leather dice cup is really, really well made, it looks really, really awesome. My issue with it is, like, who uses a dice cup? Like, it's a really nice object, leather, feeling like, I don't know, it's actually like proper like dead cow, but it feels like leather. It's got the nice kind of faux velvety stuff stuck on the inside. Feels really solid, well put together. Black with the Warhammer logo, like really nice dice cup. But who uses dice cups? Um, I thought you could use it as like to hold pens or something on your desk. I'll decide what I'm going to do with it, if anything. But I'm not really a dice cup person. Maybe I should. Maybe that should be like, I don't know, take my dice cup to every game. And it feels a bit overwrought, doesn't it? I'm gonna roll my dice in this cup and then tip out the cup. I don't know. So that's that. Then you got some metal dice. They've done metal dice before in various iterations. These metal dice are different to the chrome ones they've done before. These, I don't know how they've made them. The metal dice are really, really heavy. Like, if you roll them, you're probably going to potentially damage somebody's miniatures. But what they'd be really good for is wound markers, victory point markers, term markers, anything like that. They're really good, and they look quite individual, so you're not going to pick them up and roll them accidentally, and they're not going to get knocked accidentally because they're really, really heavy. So that's the dice as well. But the thing I really wanted, the thing that I think is really cool, is the neoprene mat. So the neoprene mat has half is one of the two designs of the of Volcus. Zimbad said to me, "Oh, it's the bad side of the Volcus mat." I'm too dumb. I can't really tell the difference between the two sides of the Volcus mat, right? It's certainly a Volcus man. It's certainly the right shape, so that's fine. Obviously, it makes no difference in game terms. Then on the other side, which is a little bit interesting, you've got a copy of. So if you've played Spearhead, Age of Sigmar Spearhead, that actually has the objectives printed on it. And the one you get in the box, the launch box for Age of Sigmar, or in the Spearhead like box, is like half is the Realm of Fire, and the objectives are in one place, and half is the Jade one, and the objectives are in another place. This is a reproduction of the Jade layout. So, it would have been really cool if they'd done two separate mats, and one was you could have done a kill team one, and then you could have separately had one that was both sides of the Spearhead one. But I understand why they did it this way. They wanted to give away one mat, and they wanted to have it appeal to everybody. So half is Sigma, half is 40k themed. They did say, and if you have two, you can play Combat Patrol. And that's true. If you had two, you could play Combat Patrol if you wanted to drop £400. I don't play a lot of Combat Patrol, but I do play Kill Team, and I am going to play at least some Spearhead this year. So pretty pleased that I have the mat that I want. I think it's a cool piece of bling. I'll probably use it whenever I'm playing Kill Team at home, in preference to the cardboard mat, which looks a bit less cool. Although, swings and roundabouts, because the cardboard map, the bit that looks less cool is the weird folds and creases, but they do at least help you find the centre. There is that part to it, I suppose. But this looks much nicer, and it's much more durable as well. It's not going to wear away. So, pleased to pick that up. Although, I have to say, Games Workshop, just sell them. People would pay for that. Like, just sell them. Just sell them for money, rather than make it once a year, for only 1 year. If you buy £200 of other stuff, like, you can have this. But, like, just sell the neoprene mats, man. You've obviously got a contract with somebody to make them. But maybe they can't make that many, or the margin's not great, or whatever it is. But that's the free swag. So then there was Legends of Paint. So they always run this open painting competition called Legends of Paint, which is kind of similar to a Golden Demon in a way, in that you win bronze, silver, or gold, but it's also not really a competition. It's not PvP, is the best way to put it. You're not competing with the other people there. You are competing against a set of guidelines known to the judges, right? So in other words, every single person that enters a miniature whose miniature qualifies for bronze standard will receive a bronze pin. Every single person there whose miniature reaches silver standard will receive a silver pin, and every single miniature there that reaches the gold standard will get a gold pin. So it's like a PvE painting contest, right? Now, I had planned to enter my Triumph of St. Catherine, but I left trying to work out how to transport that until far too late in the day. And then when I was trying to transport it, one of the cherubs broke off the top, and it was stressing me out too much. So I just grabbed what I thought was a pretty well painted miniature, the Orc Knob from my Wrecker Crew kill team, which, has gotten a mixed reaction on the Discord and things, but I really like him. So now, unfortunately, he didn't get a bronze pin. I do this totally fair. I did get a bronze pin last year with my Lamentus Space Marine Captain. I still don't think that I have painted anything that is as technically nicely executed as those Lamenters, and I do intend to try hard. I've been through a whole. Those of you that follow, that are really enmeshed in the Tabletop Impulse thing, will know that I've gone through a whole odyssey with painting recently. And I'm trying to get to the back end of this orc project so I can really try some new things on the next project. I don't think the orcs look bad, though. People don't really like them, but I don't think they look bad. So I think it's totally fair. I'm not really worried about that. I'd be more irritated if I managed to get the Triumph there, which is the miniature. When I did my year-in review, everyone said that was the best miniature I painted this year. It's and if that hadn't got a bronze, I'd be a little bit more salty, but actually I'm not that bothered. But like I said, I do plan to have a miniature this year that I identify, a Warhammer miniature, a single character, that I paint with half a mind to the Legends of Paint 2026, at least to getting a bronze again, right? I'm thinking, I haven't even purchased this yet. It's the last thing that Games Workshop have that I want to buy before I'm totally just on buying the new releases and nothing else. But if you've seen the Old World, the female necromancer, that's technically for the Empire, but I'm going to paint her and put her on a round base and use her in my Soulblight Gravelords. I think I might take a little bit of extra time on that one and see what I can do with that. Maybe, potentially, that might be my kind of Legends of Paint, potentially entry for 2026. What was interesting for this year, so last year it was the Heavy Metal team. Adrian and I think another guy from Heavy Metal were judging the Legends of Paint. This time, helping with the judging, they had Richard Gray, famous sort of YouTube mini painter. And I could have asked for feedback, right? And had I got a bronze pin, I would have gone and asked Richard, okay, I got a bronze, great, fantastic. What's your advice on how to get a silver? But having achieved, not even a bronze pin, having basically gone backwards since last year, I was like, well, the only stuff he's going to tell me is stuff that I low-key already know, and I just felt a bit embarrassed. Because he's really a truly fantastic painter. So, and plus, Penny kind of wanted to go home at that point, because you have to hang around till 3:30 to get your model back, and we were had been done for about 45 minutes, so I just got my orc and left. But that was the Legends of Paint competition, and it's cool that it's there, right? Paint and take. Apologies, you can't see this photograph very well. So there were two licensing. Actually, there was a couple because the RPG guys were there as well. But there was two physical licensing people there with shops, right? One was Displate, and they had an array of Warhammer displates. The displays are really nice, actually. If I was furnishing a newer, bigger house, I would definitely buy some Warhammer displays. I think they look really good. My walls are full of framed art, right? One thing they were doing is giving away free mini displays. The idea was that you painted it yourself, right? And you could go to the paint and take, and you could get these free displays. I ended up leaving with, altogether, our group of 3, me and my wife and Penny. Penny painted 2 displays, and my wife painted a mini displate, and then I had a mini I think I left with an additional 4. So there's the one I've kept for myself. I give one to Zimbad, one to Blue, and one is in my office at school. I'm going to give it away to one of the children at Warhammer Club. Really cool little thing. I didn't want to paint mine at the event because I want to take a little bit of time over it, right, at home. But we spent a lot of time at the paint and take. There's also some miniatures you could paint. It's funny, there were 2 paint and takes. There was the Space Marine paint and take, which was in the restaurant at the back, behind Bugman's Bar, which was always rammed. And then there was the Age of Sigmar paint and take, which also had the displays at it, which was a much bigger area. And the models that you're painting were like zombies from Curse City, I think. So I painted a zombie. Mrs. Tales Impulse painted a displate, and Penny painted, bless her, 2 displates and a zombie. like, not well because she's 2, but she had a nice time, and that's what's important, right? So that was brilliantly good fun, and it was great to get a cool, interesting freebie as well, which I thought was good. And then we got the Warhammer World Museum. So the Warhammer World Museum was free to go around, and I've seen it a lot, right? And so if I've been there on my own, sorry, somebody is insistently, wow, I'm so professional. Somebody is insistently Facebook messaging me, and there's nothing I can do to mute it because I'm in the middle of recording. Look at this. I'm the best. There we go. Turn the volume off. The Warhammer World Museum was free to go around, and I've seen it loads, but it was really nice to go with Penny and Helen, and to show Penny all the miniatures. So here's a picture of the backs of Penny and Helen's head, because they don't want to be all over the internet, but there's the backs of their heads anyway. And Penny genuinely really did enjoy looking at all. I don't know if she understood what she was looking at, but they're colourful. She liked looking at orcs. Orcs were popular. Yeah, and she liked looking at horses as well. So that was good. She got a surprising amount of stimulation and good times of it. Like, she was really good. She didn't have any toddler. We were there from like 10 till 3:30, like a long time. We had lunch and stuff, but she had a really nice day. And she wasn't even the only little kid there. There were 4 or 5 other little tiny kids there. She was a bit leery of the cosplayers, especially ones that had helmets on. She couldn't see their faces. She was a bit leery of them, but she was having a wonderful time. That was really, really good as well. Absolutely. Other things we could have done. So there was loads more going on that we didn't do by virtue of being there as a family trip. So Penny didn't want to sit and watch us sit and participate in a participation game. There were loads of different participation games being facilitated by the staffs. We could have played Curse City, we could have played Spearhead, we could have played Conquest of Warlords, which if you've watched Warhammer TV, it's like an evolution of the old Arena of Death idea, right? And Nick Baton was there kind of GMing that for people. I think there was probably other Warhammer TV, like on a shift basis, other kind of their famous people, but the time when I was sat at the paint and take, it was definitely Nick Baton constantly shouting like really loudly, really enthusiastically, and there were some like 12, 13-year-old kids playing with it with the giant dice as well. They were having a wonderful time. Cubicle 7 was there, in theory running RPG sessions. I saw nobody playing in the RPG sessions at any time. The Cubicle 7 guys seemed a little bit like they were standing around feeling bored, but there you go. There was a boarding action challenge that was really, really popular. They put the 40k at the back in the staff restaurant, as you can see on the map. And we all know 40k is the more popular than Age of Sigmar. And half of what you can't see on there is half of the 40k zone was like barriered off because it was the Scrap Mountain. Which was a paid extra ticket where you could spend all day sitting and converting stuff, which would have been, again, another thing really cool to go and do if Penny hadn't been with us. And yeah, it was weird to me because the Age of Sigmar zone was pretty chill, pretty empty. You could wander around. The 40k zone, which Stiff Shedding, it was always rammed up with people. But yeah, it was the boarding action challenge, and that was being run by Steve Boggs from Vanguard Tactics, which would have been cool to do, but again, busy, right? And then they had another narrative kill team table, which I couldn't even see because it was that deep filled with people. But that was Virus Bomb. That would have been really cool to do as well, actually. But again, it was really, that was the one bit that was really, really busy. And also, I couldn't really, with Penny, we couldn't really stop and play games. And then also new for this year, they had over the car park. They had an old world zone in the atrium of the other building where they very occasionally had seminars and stuff. If you've ever been over to that side of Warhammer World. And they had Full Tilt was there. They had demo games of the old world. They had some of the guys from whoever it is that makes the LARP safe Warhammer Old World weaponry. And they said that you could pose for a photo with all the stuff. And there was certainly an area with all the stuff laid out. When we were there was nobody like standing there going, hey, do you want to try this stuff on and pose for a photo? Because we totally would have done. Now, this was on the Sunday afternoon, so maybe the guys were just like tired, which is totally fair. Yeah. Now, and also there was a freehand hobby workshop in the old world zone that was free, and it was running like 4 times during the day, and it was literally everyone got free Bretonian night, and it was just the guy at the front would walk you through just doing some freehand on one of the shields on the Bretonian horse. And me and Mrs. Ti both said that we definitely would have done that had we not been with Penny, because that looked really, really good, actually. And to say that was free and didn't have an additional cost associated with it as well, really, really positive. And that's really it. That's my final thoughts. So, look, I had a really nice time. It's not the most fully featured review because I could have done more if I'd not had Penny with me. That being said, I really like that it's one of the things that we do as actually a family day out because, if I'm going to a gaming event, Helen or Penny can't really come with me because, my wife used to play in the tournaments and stuff, and many of you watching this may have met her at Kill Team tournaments and things, but we can't both go to Nottingham because nobody's there available to babysit Pen. So it's nice that we can at least go and do this thing as a family group. That brings me quite a lot of joy in its own way. So apologies for not being the most fully, it would have been great to do all the stuff and come back with a really comprehensive review of every single activity and give it a decent rating, but I don't want to pretend that I know more about the things that I haven't actually done. Now, what is interesting is the one thing that wasn't there to see, there were some miniatures to look at. They had all of the Emperor's Children out in a cabinet and all of the new Eldar out in a cabinet. Stuff you've seen on Warcom, but you could see in the flesh. That was pretty cool. What they didn't have was Kill Team Blood and Zeal, which was really interesting. Glass Half Dead, respect to him, he said, oh yeah, they're gonna preview Blood and Zeal at the Warhammer World Anniversary, because they always preview something at the Warhammer World Anniversary. And I don't want to say he was wrong, because sure enough, they put it up on Warcom on the Saturday of the Warhammer World Anniversary, but they didn't actually preview it at the Warhammer World Anniversary. It wasn't there for you to look. Otherwise, I would have taken some photographs of the other angles of the models and tried to see if I could have a flick through the book or something like that. But that wasn't a thing that you could do. That wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. It wasn't mentioned. It just happened to go up on Warcom at the same time. So that was a bit of a weird one. And that's basically it. So do consider subscribing, commenting, liking, etc. Join the Discord, all these things. And I want to say a big thank you to all my members that continually support me here at Tabletop Impulse. It really, really is appreciated. Especially to Nightfall and Sam Troth, who are subscribed at the highest tier and therefore get a bespoken shout out every single video. I intend to do another video tomorrow. Yeah, and keep the daily video train. Well, not quite daily, because we don't do live stream Tuesdays. I take Wednesdays off. But otherwise, my intention is to keep the daily video train going for the next few weeks, because I got very little on. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Cheery, cheery, bye. Bye-bye, bye, goodbye, bye-bye, bye, 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 bye.